Doing us proud there with that match in the absence of any action at Grace Road. The match between Leicestershire and Yorkshire, of course, washed out, 2 points apiece there. Let's see how the other matches have fared.
Well, at Portsmouth, Alan Lilly was the only Essex batsman to shape up to Hampshire's fiery attack. His 55 included 2 sixes, while Malcolm Marshall and Tim Tremlett took the bowling honours with 3 wickets apiece. And then Hampshire made heavy weather of it, losing their first 5 wickets for 46. Lancashire and Nottinghamshire, the match abandoned of 2 points each, and the same with Leicestershire against Yorkshire, 2 points to each side. Middlesex and Derbyshire, the Middlesex tailenders built on a spirited 49 by Wilf Slack to set Derbyshire 162 to win, a target that looks like proving too much, with Norman Cowan taking 3 quick wickets. Northants against Gloucester, Alan Lamb's 36 was the top score as Northants struggled to 170, but Rain stopped play with Gloucester on 39 for 2 in 14 overs. And Worcester against Somerset at Worcester, an unbeaten 84 by John Hardy, plus a fine 51 from skipper Peter Roebuck, carried Somerset to the highest score of the day so far. Tim Curtis and Graham Hick put on 63 for Worcester's second wicket, but they slumped to Adrian Jones, who took 3 cheap wickets.
Well, we'll be rounding up all the news of the day very shortly, but just now we've got some canoeing for you. And if you were watching Grandstand yesterday, you'd have seen British success in the World Canoeing Championships being held at Bourg-Saint-Maurice in France. Gold for Liz Sharman and gold also for our men's kayak team. Well, the competition is on the violent waters of the River Isère, just down the mountain from Val d'Isère, and perhaps the toughest event is the Wild Water Race, taking place over 5 kilometres of continuous wild water, and that's what we're going to show you now. It's all going to be described for you by David Goldstrom. Victory for Gilles Zoc. We're going to start our look back at the afternoon with another race that really took its toll, because we're going to look back at the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Nigel Mansell, of course, starting that race from pole position, and victory would have given him the lead in the World Drivers' Championship. Well, an incident-packed race, to say the least. Mansell hit the front, and we join it at the halfway stage. This is the full result. First victory of the season for Nelson Piquet, Stefan Johansson second in the McLaren, Ayrton Senna in the Lotus third, and a good day for the Tyrrells. Philippe Streff fourth, Jonathan Palmer fifth, and Philippe Alliot sixth in the Lola, getting his first point of the season, and those were the only 6 finishers. And this is how it leads the World Drivers' Championship. Nelson Piquet takes over the leadership, despite only having had 1 victory, that one today. Ayrton Senna second, Nigel Mansell drops to third, Alain Prost fourth. Those are the 4 real contenders. Stefan Johansson picks up 6 points for today's second place, but is well back in 5th place. And the Constructors' Championship, it's still Williams in command, 69 points ahead of McLaren in 2nd place. And you can see it in full detail once again tonight, the German Grand Prix, in Grand Prix tonight, BBC2 at 10:45. Well, Raul Boesel made it a Brazilian double at Brands Hatch, adding the Shell Gemini Sports Car 1000 to Nelson Piquet's victory. Boesel's Jaguar finished 73 seconds ahead of the Porsche, driven by Johnny Dumfries, with John Watson's Jaguar third. The current world champion Derek Bell fourth in his privately entered Porsche, and Boesel has now taken the lead in the World Sports Car Championship with 90 points, Bell second on 84, Watson third on 67. Well, Stephen Roach, without doubt, is the toast of Ireland tonight as he completed victory, a historic victory in the Tour de France. He finished 40 seconds ahead of his great rival Pedro Delgado of Spain after today's final stage in Paris. The Irish Prime Minister, Mr. Charles Hawkey, was at the finishing line to congratulate him. Roach goes into the record books as the 5th rider to win both the Tour de France and the Tour of Italy in the same year. And to add to the English-speaking triumph, today's final stage was won by the American Jeff Pierce after a sprint through central Paris. Athletics, victory for Steve Cram in the Pearl Assurance meeting at Gateshead. He got up in the last few strides to beat Peter Elliott in the 1,000 metres. His time 2 minutes 17.35 seconds. Fatima Whitbread beat Tessa Sanderson comfortably in the javelin with 69.5 metres. And Ed Moses coasted to victory in the 400-metre hurdles with 48.84 seconds. Golf, Gordon Brown Jr. snatched a last-hole victory in the Dutch Open at Hilversum to take the title by 1 stroke from David A. Russell, who chipped in for an eagle on the 18th. Brand picked up a cheque for £30,000 and moved up to 8th place in the Ryder Cup table. Another single-stroke victory in the Seniors British Open at Turnberry for Britain's Neil Coles. He held off a brilliant surge by New Zealand's former Open champion Bob Charles and was the only player to finish under par. Amazing to think that Neil Coles' cheque for £25,000, his biggest ever payday. Well, that's it. Another rather rain-affected day survived for us. Next week, we brave the elements ourselves as we take the programme out to Donington for live coverage of the British Motorcycle Grand Prix. So that's next week on Sunday Grandstand. Donington next week. Today, it was Hockenheim that provided the excitement in no small degree. Bye-bye.
Tonight on BBC2, Favourite Things. Russell Harty visits number 10 Downing Street to reveal the more private and personal side of the Right Honourable Margaret Thatcher.
When we're in on our own, which is rare, but it's a rare treat, but we are on our own, we would choose things like bacon and egg, or a favourite of ours, poached egg on Bovril toast.
In the course of your years in office, you've had to travel a great deal. I presume now that you can no longer ever be an ordinary packaged tourist, can you?
Well, it is difficult because the moment I go round some of the places we all want to see, I'm just surrounded by people, but it means that I can't usually see the buildings. But I think the one that has really taken me aback with its beauty is the Taj Mahal in Agra. The outline is beautiful, the architecture is lovely, and the workmanship exquisite.
The Prime Minister talks about her favourite things tonight at 7:15 on 2. On BBC1 now, General Eva Burrows, world leader of the Salvation Army, is home on Sunday talking to Cliff Mitchellmore and choosing her favourite pieces of religious music. Here on 2, the funny side of American life with Garry Shandling's show.